So today I'm going to do something a little bit different, a little bit silly, and hopefully a little bit fun. Many of you may know that March is my birthday month and I will be turning 41. So because I'm quite a bit older than quite a lot of the different people in the Booktube community, there's a lot of vernacular slang that you guys use that I don't necessarily really know what they mean. So I thought that it would be a bit fun to go through today and talk about some of those words that I don't entirely get, and for me to tell you what it is that I think that they mean. So I have a list of words here that I'm going to go through and talk about. I think for the most part I've got the kind of general gist of what they mean, but please do comment below and let me know how close or not I am to the correct usage of these words in the vernacular. Yes, so the first one that I want to talk about is trash, because I kind of think this is pretty funny, because when I was first hearing this one, I think I had a total misunderstanding of what you guys were meaning when you said this. For example, I am total trash for Sarah J. Maas. So I was hearing that phrase in particular, but people talking about how they were trash for something for quite a while when I first started getting involved with and watching Booktube. Particularly Booktube, not so much YouTube in general. I don't know if that just means I pay more attention to Booktube, but anyway, be that as it may, that's not really the point. So when I first was hearing that as a concept, I actually thought that it meant that I know that this particular book or author or whatever it might be isn't really very good, but I love it anyway. When someone said that they were trash for Sarah J. Maas, I thought they were saying, look, I know she's really not that great, but actually I still really love her book. I did put this on Twitter, and someone actually said, yes, you are correct anyway. Now that I have, in fact, read Sarah J. Maas, well, one Sarah J. Maas, I would have to say that I don't entirely agree with that. I think that she is actually quite a good author. But anyway, it turns out that that is not correct. And what people actually mean when they say something like that is they are trash in comparison to that person. So that person is so amazing and so great and so wonderful that the person talking is trash in comparison. I wouldn't actually go far enough to say that I feel that way about any author, but I get, we like to exaggerate to make our points. So that's the first one, trash. Rowan has just interjected to suggest that also it could mean that the person is willing to do just about anything for the person they consider themselves trash for. So that could be another concept or another meaning behind it. I don't know. The next one is shook. So given that shook is a past tense of shaking or being shaken, I'm going to have to assume that when someone says I'm so shook, that they mean I am shaken. That has shaken me. Just based on my understanding of how words work and grammar works. But yeah, that's another one that I wasn't totally confused by it, because given context, I was pretty sure that's what people meant. And certainly, like I said, this book shook me. It's fairly obvious that it means this book shook me, which is a sentence I potentially could say. It's when people say I am so shook that I get a bit like, what don't you mean you're a bit shaken? Because yes, being in your 40s makes you that person. Next up, we have ship. Took me a while to figure this one out, because I kept getting confused about why there was a boat in an entirely unboat context. But given the fact that people talk about it when they are talking about people being together or relationships, I'm assuming that what you guys mean when you ship something, or when you say ship in that context, is a relationship between two people, usually a romantic relationship. I think the thing that made me so confused is that in the context of they have a really great ship, they could have a really great boat, but they could also, if you're talking about, oh, they're really great together, they have a really great ship, they have a great relationship. What is extra confusing is when people ship people. So this one comes up quite a lot in different contexts when people are talking about relationships, particularly when they're not talking about specific relationships in books so much as relationships they kind of wish had been written into the book or that they saw coming. So, for example, I totally shipped Hunt and Bryce. So I think from that context that it means that you think that that couple of people would make a great romantic relationship together, or that you see that coming down the line in the series, book, whatever. I think that's that one. This one still has me a little bit uncertain, but I'm pretty sure that that's what is intended when people ship other people. Or it could potentially just mean that you really don't like them and you want to ship them off away from you. But I don't think so. The next one is cinnamon roll. So people use this when they're talking about characters, and they talk about how that character is a real cinnamon roll. Honestly, something I had never heard before until I started watching Booktube. I assume that a cinnamon roll is super sweet, and so the character is super sweet. That's my assumption. That certainly seems to be, again, in the context of when I hear people say that, certainly seems to be what they intend. But yeah. Cinnamon roll?
Are they maybe comparing it to the Sanrio character's cinnamon roll?
What? Say that again.
So apparently not everyone is familiar with cinnamon roll from Sanrio. It's basically Hello Kitty, but it's a floppy bunny character and not a happy kitty.
Rowan has put that forward as a suggestion for what people mean when they talk about cinnamon roll. Kind of don't think that's what is being referred to, but who knows, it could be. So comment below and let me know what you think of all of these suggestions that I have, but particularly comment below and let me know if you are specifically referring to cinnamon roll when you talk about a cinnamon roll character, or if you're talking about something that's just super sweet and you're talking about the food stuff of a cinnamon roll. I've definitely heard people say cinnamon roll, but at this point anything could be true. Next up we have Stan. I don't get this one at all. I don't get where...
It's like Netflix.
Thank you, Ron. It's very helpful having your partner working like literally round the corner from you when you're trying to film, because he interjects all these different suggestions.
Yeah, keep that train of thought off the rails.
Yeah. Now I have no idea what I was talking about. Stan. Yes, it is like Netflix. Anyway, shush. Stan. Shush, Rowan. Do you want to come here and talk with me on camera?
Stan? I'm going to grab a drink.
Okay. I think he's finished. Let's try that again. So, I think because people say, I really stan that, or I stan this book, I think it means that you guys really, really like it. I think that's what it means, that it's something that you really enjoy, you really appreciate. I think I've more often heard it as like a particular aspect of a book rather than the book itself. Like I stan hate to love as a trope, for example.
I would die on this hill. I will stand here.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think so.
Well, there you go. Did you hear Rowan? Because what he just said was, this is the hill that I will stand and die on. Is that what you guys mean? Are you staking a claim that you love this thing to the ends of the earth, you love this thing no matter what, and this is your last stand? Because that makes a lot more sense than, well, actually I had nothing. I had nothing for this one. I kind of got that it was something that you love, but I didn't get like why or how it worked, but that kind of makes sense. But if that's the case, can someone please comment below and let me know why there's no D? Because stan and stand are the same syllable, so it's not like you really have that much more work to do to have a D. And yes, I do realise that at this point I sound like the old grandma who's like, oh, back in my day. But yeah, I don't get it. Please explain. So yeah. That is my list of words that I am too old to really understand and definitely too old to use. I just thought that would be a fun, silly something that you guys might enjoy. Please comment below and let me know, first of all, what on earth all these things mean, whether I'm remotely on the money, how close Rowan is to any of the things that we're talking about as well. Explain things to me, please, and just generally what you thought, I should say, of this video. Did you like it? Did you have fun? I would love to know all of those things. It's meant to be entirely me just being silly. It's meant to be entirely tongue-in-cheek. I really do hope that everyone does see that and that I haven't offended anyone. If I have, I really do apologise. Certainly wasn't my intention, but yeah, it's just meant to be me making fun of myself, basically, and how old I am and how I don't get stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.